This is the cheesiest and most unstoppable scheme in college football 25, created by a person named OG2K, a top 50 pro player in the entire world. And it has been used to take down some of the GOATs in the competitive scene, including Cleff the God, Dez, Drini, Young Kiv, and many more. Now, OG2K plays offense in a way he calls calculated anticipation, which is the combination of reading a defense, understanding the purpose of each play, and creating favorable matchups by audibling around. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use both OG2K's UConn Huskies offense and learn your own version of calculated anticipation through exclusively explaining plays in live game situations. The first formation that he uses is the pistol trips, primarily using the plays HB zone, HB stretch, and PA boot LT. To run halfback stretch, you need to understand both defensive numbers and pursuit angles of a defense. On this play versus pro player Decroft, OG2K will run stretch to the right, knowing he has 3 blockers, and he'll only have to outrun the user in the middle. And the result of this anticipation is a 25-yard gain. Now take a look at this situation where OG2K is playing the double mug meta, knowing that all 3 corners on the trip side are in man coverage. However, he also knows his receivers are stemmed blockers, which means when he snaps the ball, the defensive backs will backpedal on snap, so when he gets through the line, they'll already be blocking 20 yards down the field. In other situations where there is a clear numbers advantage on the trip side for the defense, he will run stretch to the tight end side for a better look. Now, the better run of the two is the halfback zone, which OG2K uses in a similar way, but it is much better for cutting inside for big gains. It is best to use this play when the defense is in a man alignment as well, having numbers to the trip side, as you can easily cut inside opposite and get yourself a gigantic gain. This play is also very effective when the defense spreads their defensive line, as there will almost always be a big hole to run through in the middle. The main pass play out of this formation is PA boot left, where OG will align his trips to the wide side, slant his tight end, zig his innermost receivers, flat his middle receiver, and Texas route his halfback. The primary read on this play is the zig route, as the flat route will pull out the flat zone, leaving the zig open in a window for both easy gains and long touchdowns if you can break a tackle. And in cases where the zig is covered, look to the Texas for an easy 10-yard read. This play is also extremely effective versus man coverage, where the zig will fry his man 100% of the time. The other setup OG uses also has his trips on the wide side of the field, where he'll put a corner on the innermost receiver and stem him down, put a drag on his tight end, and an in route on his innermost receiver, which he'll also stem up. And then he'll just freestyle with his halfback. In most cases, the streak will pull any deep zones back far enough for you to throw the corner route beneath them. This setup is also very effective versus man-aligned man coverage, where either the corner will fry his man or the in route will be throwable as a later read. Regardless of which setup you prefer, if your opponent is using one of his safeties in a heavy blitz look, you can motion out your halfback to mess with their alignment and many times get yourself a TD if you put him on a streak. The next formation we're covering is the Y off trips nasty, primarily using the plays RPO read Y flat, inside zone, dagger whip, and PA double post. We're going to start with the toxic RPO read Y flat that you can run against basically anything. Now, every time you run this, you want to align it to the wide side of the field. This will give you the most space to throw the flat route, and it is particularly effective when the defense has only 2 defenders on that side of the field, because as long as your 2 blockers do their job, you'll be in position for a huge gain or even a touchdown. And in cases where they have 3 defenders on the trip side of the field, as long as your slot receiver blocks the slot corner, you'll still be able to get a sizable gain. And if the defense shows a heavy blitz look, like nickel double mug, you can guarantee the tight end will once again be wide open in the flats. And if they start overcommitting to guard the RPO by spreading their defensive line and moving their linebackers around, that's when you can hit them with an inside zone. When it comes to passing in this formation, the best option is dagger whip, because most times the outside corner is going to be in a hard flat to guard the RPO read, which will leave the delayed whip route wide open. To set this play up, what you're going to do is block your tight end, Texas route your halfback, speed out the outside trips receiver, and stem him up 1 to 2 notches, then put a deep in route on the backside solo receiver. In almost all cases, the whip route will be wide open, but the speed out is another great option. The next play, PA double post, has a few setups, but the simplest involves putting a streak on your tight end, a streak on your outside wide receiver, a drag on your solo receiver, and a stem down corner on the middle receiver. On this play, your goal is to read the corner and the safety. In this case, they were in a cover 2 and it made for an easy dot to the tight end seam. If you're expecting a cover 4 defense where the slot corner is responsible for the flat, that's when you can modify this same setup by instead putting a speed out on the outside receiver. This is because even if the slot corner is in a hard flat, he won't be able to guard it. For a great quick hike option, you can block your tight end, put a speed out on your outside trips receiver, and stem him up 1 to 2 notches. The majority of the time, the speed out is a quick and easy read, but you'll also have a high-low read over the middle. The most explosive formation in this offense is the gun bunch wide, using clear out FLN, dig return, and branch return. Starting with clear out, the best way to run it is to align the bunch to the wide side of the field, stem down the fade, drag the solo receiver, put a speed out on the outside bunch receiver, and stem him up 3 notches. If your opponent is in a cover 3 defense, detected easily by a single high safety, the speed out will bring down the outside third, leaving the fade route wide open for a 1-play touchdown. If you see that they have 2 high safeties and their outside corners are 5 to 6 yards off the ball, they're in a cover 2. When you see this defense, look to your tight end for an equally explosive game. And if you see a coverage with 2 high safeties and outside corners at 7 to 9 yards of depth, then you'll be able to throw your deep speed out to the sideline because they're in a cover 4. Now, if all of that's covered, the nice thing is you'll have the drag route as an easy check down option. To use dig return, all you have to do is put a smoke screen on your solo wide receiver, and you can optionally put a Texas route on your halfback. This play takes advantage of the meta zig flat concept, where the flat will push the hard flat out, leaving the whip route wide open. Now, just like the hot route whips, this route in dig return will also do a good job at beating man coverage, but it's a little obvious when it's coming, so most of the time you'll have the in route wide open over the middle. Your other option is branch return, where you can slant your innermost receiver and flat your halfback. Versus man coverage, the return route is an easy read. Versus zone coverage, you'll also see the return route wide open again. And if they happen to use hard flats, you'll be able to throw the slant route above the hard flat and in between the zones for a 10+ yard gain. If all that's covered, you'll likely have the in route for an easy read late in the play. Before I break down the best strict passing form and red zone offense in this scheme, make sure to check out the official UConn offensive game plan at victoryformation.gg. You'll get detailed write-ups and formation-specific breakdowns designed to destroy any defense, made by the creator OG2K himself. A victoryformation.gg membership doesn't just unlock OG2K's cheesy UConn offense. It gives you access to over 100 game-changing videos and even more elite game plans to dominate the competition. So if you're ready to join thousands of players taking their game to the next level with victoryformation.gg, click the link below or scan the QR code to start improving your game today. The cheesiest passing formation in this offense is gun wing trips weak, using goal line short post and goal line fork zig. The first setup OG2K uses involves aligning the trips to the wide side in goal line short post, dragging the slot receiver, putting a post on the tight end, a streak on the solo receiver. The way to read the field on this play is going from the wheel to the drag to the streak to the short post. On this play, the defense is in a clear cover 2, so the solo receiver will be wide open on the sideline. The next setup involves putting a zig on the slot receiver, a streak on the tight end, and a stem down post on the solo receiver. Since this defense once again shows a cover 2, the tight end streak will be wide open in between the halves for a huge gain. The first setup for goal line fork zig is doing absolutely nothing. This is because each route on this play is unique and effective, especially the delay route on the outside trips receiver and the whip route on the solo receiver. This combo is particularly good versus man coverage because you'll be able to throw both the whip route and the TE corner for a touchdown or big gain. The other way to run goal line fork zig is to put a wheel on the slot receiver, an in on the solo receiver, and a crosser on the tight end. In most cases, the defensive user will play the in route or the crosser, which will leave the special delay route wide open or the ghost route open for an easy gain. Now, the red zone is where this offense really thrives because of the formation Singleback Wing Slot Over, using either HB slant 18 or 26 duo. This formation is particularly special because you have 2 tight ends and 2 receivers all on one side of the field blocking for you. So when you use HB slant, you'll basically prance into the end zone. And if they overcommit to the HB slant, that's when you hit them with 26 duo, cutting in between the tight ends and the offensive line for an easy touchdown. You could also go back to old reliable HB zone from pistol trips in these situations. Now that you've learned OG2K's insanely cheesy UConn offense, it's time to learn some defense. So click on the video on screen to learn the best defense in both college football and Madden 25.